out of the way if you find that you're struggling with any aspect of combat, whether that's remembering to use your skills regularly, dodging enemy attacks, incorporating Torgal into the combat, or just in general, you need some help staying alive, you probably already have the solution. At the beginning of the game, you're given 5 timely rings, each with a different powerful effect that can be equipped to take some of the edge off of combat. The Ring of Timely Strikes will automatically use techniques and combos, and all you have to do is worry about mashing the square button. The Ring of Timely Evasion will allow you to avoid all attacks automatically, as long as the attack is able to be evaded. The Ring of Timely Focus cannot be combined with the previous ring, but will slow down time when an enemy is about to strike you, giving you ample opportunity to dodge out of the way. The Ring of Timely Healing will automatically use a potion for you once you hit a certain threshold of life, and the Ring of Timely Assistance will automatically issue commands to Torgal, so you don't have to juggle another element of combat. By all means, you should use these rings if you feel like you need the extra assistance. The rest of the tips in this video will make it so that you don't need to, because being able to free up those 3 gear slots for accessories that allow you to enhance your favorite stats and abilities will make for a more rewarding experience in the end. Combat in Final Fantasy XVI is actually fairly simple on the ground level. Clive has a 4-hit combo that you can mash out with the square button, he can cast magic projectiles by pressing triangle, and he's got 3 unique skills for each of the 3 icon powers that he has equipped. Instead of just mashing square on enemies though, you should always aim to press triangle in between each hit to execute a magic burst. By adding a magic burst in between each hit of the combo, your 4-hit combo will become an 8-hit combo and also deal much more stagger damage. Note that when you're in limit break mode, you can still do magic bursts, but the timing changes, since every press of the square button causes Clive to attack twice, so you need to wait for the second strike before you press triangle to execute the magic burst. You'll notice when you look at an ability on the abilities menu that they're each graded by 2 different 5-star scales. The first one, with a sword icon, tells you approximately how much damage a skill does, while the other tells you how much stagger a move will build up. This is important to know when it comes to maximizing your damage output, as you'll want to use moves with strong stagger power to both stagger and build up the damage multiplier once they're staggered, and then you'll want to use your damage abilities once that multiplier is at the maximum of 1.5. So, as an example, one common thing you'll want to do when faced against a tough enemy with a stagger bar is open the fight with a high stagger damage ability to try and whittle away at that stagger bar. Gouge from the Garuda icon is one of the best skills for this, especially early on, but anything with 3 stars is great as well, like Scarlet Cyclone on Phoenix, Wicked Wheel also on Garuda, or Pile Drive on Ramu. Before you deal the staggering blow, try to make sure that all of your cooldowns are up. Once an enemy is staggered, use Gouge again to build up that multiplier, mashing the attack button to do as many hits as you can. Then start using moves that have a mix of damage and stagger to deal damage while also trying to get that multiplier up to the max. Then finish off the stagger state with your most damaging ability to really get the most out of the opportunity. Another skill that does an even better job of building stagger and multiplier is Aerial Blast on Garuda, which creates a giant whirlwind that deals continuous damage. Just know that it becomes very hard to actually see the enemy, making it difficult to react to their attacks. After you delete half of your enemy's stagger meter, if you've got the Garuda icon equipped, you can use its special ability with the circle button to pull the enemy down into the ground, granting a few precious seconds of free hits while they recover. This works even on the largest of bosses and is something that you should always be on the lookout for. Don't neglect your Hound. By pressing left on the D-pad, you can switch from consumable items to Torgal's command list, allowing you to command your pup to either use a Sick, which is a basic attack, or Ravage, an attack that actually launches weaker enemies up into the air, allowing you to either jump after them or use the Phoenix's dash to start an air combo. There's also some other hidden tricks involving Torgal. If you use a Sick attack right after the last hit of a melee combo, after a skill, or a charged attack, Torgal will execute a Precision Sick instead, which will keep enemies suspended in the air long enough for you to follow up with a Phoenix Dash and continue with an air combo. Precision Sicks are also helpful to keep enemies in their staggered state longer, so you should always be on the lookout to use them. In addition to granting you access to 3 new skills, getting a new icon also gives you a new iconic feat, which is a special move mapped to the circle button that you can only use when you've got that icon equipped. Here's a few tips on how to best use each iconic feat. The Phoenix Dash isn't just useful for following enemies up into the air for air combos. After knocking them off their feet with a grounded combo or a charged attack, you can use your Phoenix Dash to quickly close in on them and press the square button to do a hugely damaging punish attack that gives you full invulnerability during the animation. Garuda's Deadly Embrace is a great technique specifically for targeting spellcasters that like to use healing or buffing spells, but it can also be used after the last hit of a ground or air combo to pull an enemy right back to you and continue the punishment. Ramuh's Blind Justice is a great way to open up a fight against a large group of weak enemies, as each hit also tags them with an orb of lightning that, when struck, will discharge and deal more damage to both the target and the surrounding enemies. Titanic Block can be held down to simply block damage, but if you time it perfectly, you can execute a powerful counter by mashing square 3 times. When charging Mega Flare using Wings of Light, you can actually speed up the charge time significantly by dodging an attack at just the right time. When using Cold Snap, you can turn the dodge into an attack by pressing circle during the dodge. If you dodge an attack right before it lands, you'll freeze all nearby enemies and inflict them with permafrost, which keeps an enemy stuck in place for an amount of time determined by the enemy's strength. The Zantetsuken charge on the Arm of Darkness ability saves even if you change icons. You can use this to your advantage by building it up to level 3 early on in a fight, and then bust it out as one of your big damage dealers once the enemy has been staggered and has their multiplier up to 1.5. And finally, a quick tip about Limit Break. Obviously, you should use this whenever you want to put out big damage, but one other use for it is to break out of a multi-hitting attack from an enemy. This is especially important because you can't heal yourself while you're getting hit. So if you find yourself on the receiving end of a big damage attack from a boss, and you don't have the health to withstand the full might of it, you can activate Limit Break in the middle of the attack, get to safety, and then heal up. And those are our essential combat tips to survive in Final Fantasy XVI. Thanks for watching, and for more Final Fantasy XVI, make sure to head to IGN.com for a constantly updating wiki page, along with my full review. And for everything else, keep it here on IGN. So, as an example, one common thing you'll want to do when faced against a tough enemy with a stagger bar is open the fight with a high stagger damage ability to try and whittle away at that stagger bar. Gouge from the Garuda icon is one of the best skills for this, especially early on, but anything with 3 stars is great as well, like Scarlet Cyclone on Phoenix, Wicked Wheel also on Garuda, or Pile Drive on Ramuh. Before you deal the staggering blow, try to make sure that all of your cooldowns are up. Once an enemy is staggered, use Gouge again to build up that multiplier, mashing the attack button to do as many hits as you can. Then start using moves that have a mix of damage and stagger to deal damage while also trying to get that multiplier up to the max. Then finish off the stagger state with your most damaging ability to really get the most out of the opportunity. Another skill that does an even better job of building stagger and multiplier is Aerial Blast on Garuda, which creates a giant whirlwind that deals continuous damage. Just know that it becomes very hard to actually see the enemy.